and welcome back. My name is Kristen B. This is Zeus, and this is my Wicked workshop. I'm gonna be doing something different today. I know it's not a wreath and it's not a puppet. Whoa. Crazy. If you haven't guessed by my beautiful red companion here, I'm going to be making a skirt. Have you met Zeus? He's just the best boy ever. You may be asking yourself, why Kristen? Why a skirt? Well, it's just because I want a really cool outfit to go to MegaCon in. My plan is to meet the Stranger Things cast, 1, 2, I don't know how many of them yet, and I just want a really cool outfit to do it in. So here's the plan. So I really want to make a circle skirt. It's just one of those flattering shapes for my body that hides my mom pooch. I also like the retro feel of it. And I'm inspired to make it after the wall, like in season 1 when Joyce is painting the letters on to contact Will on the other side. So I'm going to take fabric that looks like the wallpaper to make the skirt out of, then add the lettering and the lights. I'm also thinking about adding a cute ruffle on the bottom and or maybe a black ribbon on the top. As a Stranger Things fan that has been thinking about this for a while, I think this is gonna turn out pretty wicked cool. Is this gonna work out? I don't know, I never know, but if you don't try, you'll never know, so let's try. And I already went to Joann Fabrics and got this wallpaper looking fabric that I think is gonna work perfectly. So I'm gonna start off by just making the waistband and we'll see how it goes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get my waist measurement. Of course, I'm missing my measuring tape that's flexible, but using a piece of string or twine like I am is just as good. Make sure to wrap it around the smallest part of your body. Now I'm gonna make the waistband out of elastic because stretchy is always good. I just lay down the twine next to the elastic and cut off how much I need. Now I'm gonna pin and sew the elastic to the fabric. Now I can roll the fabric around the elastic band and pin it again. Pretty much just making a sleeve so you don't see that elastic. Now with the sleeve in place, I can attach the ends and sew them so they're nice and strong. I like to use a zigzag stitch for this. Now I can slide it over my mannequin. So now we're on the floor, and the reason I'm down here is because I'm just gonna draw up a quick pattern for a circle skirt. And if you're like me and love circle skirts, you know you're gonna use this a lot. But unfortunately, I've gained a little bit of weight, so I have to redo my circle skirt pattern. And let me tell you, I really like my carbs.
Potatoes.
I will put a link to the formula for the circle skirt in the description below so you could do it too, because circle skirts are just awesome. So the first thing the calculation does is figure out how big your waist part should be. So here I am marking off how big my waist part is. Then I just connect all the little dots that I just made with the ruler. Then you have to figure out how long you want your skirt. I'm gonna make mine 24 inches, so I just mark it all along and draw out that line again. It was that easy, and now I can cut it out and have a pattern. So this fabric was the closest thing I could find to that wallpaper, and I think it actually looks really good. For this pattern, you have to fold the fabric because it sits on that fold mark. Then I just carefully line it up and pin it all down. And then I just cut it out. Ta-da! Now I have half of the fabric for the skirt. Now I gotta do the same thing again for the other half of the fabric, but I figured out that I did not have enough fabric. I bought 3 yards and you can see it's just slightly too short to make it. But that's okay because I'm just gonna finagle it a little to get it to be how I need it. So what I do is I take the first half of the fabric of the skirt, lay it on the other fabric, and then I just slightly change the angle of the skirt to be a little bit smaller so it can fit the rest of the fabric that I have. I'm just gonna trace it with a Sharpie, pin it, and then cut it all out. And now I have my 2 sides of the fabric. It's not perfect, but only me and you will know. But before I sew it all together, I like to give it a nice pressing with my iron. I can pin the 2 sides of the skirt now and sew it all together. With the base of the skirt complete, now I just pin it to my waistband. I just pinned most of the pleats to the back of the skirt so that way it would still give me a smooth front so I could paint on it later, and just sewed it to the waistband. Now I can go around the bottom of the skirt and pin the hemline. And of course I'm going to finish it with my machine. Hello! So there we go, the structure of the skirt is done. I did add the ribbon at the last minute because I'm a little bit spooky and a little bit cutesy. And I think it will just look really cute in the back if I tie it and have little tails hanging down. I still have to figure out exactly how I'm gonna attach this to the skirt. I don't know. If I'm not gonna wash it ever, which I might not, I would just tack the ribbon down with some glue, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I might have to wear this more than once, so we'll see. So my first thought was to use some of the extra fabric I had left over to make a ruffle down here, but I really like how it turned out with the petticoat sticking out a little bit. So the next thing I have to do is I have to put the alphabet on the skirt. There's actually a couple ways I could put the alphabet on the fabric. The first way, and probably the more proper way, would be to take my Cricut machine, cut out the letters, and then iron them all on. But that way is just not speaking to me. I mean, Joyce just like painted it on herself, and I think that that's what I'm gonna do. So I bought this black fabric paint that I think is gonna work great for this. It says to lay it flat to dry, so I guess I'll have to put it on the table to paint the letters on. But before I do that, I wanna take this scrap piece of paper, write out all the letters, cut them all out, and then pin them to the fabric so I have a guide of where I'm supposed to paint the letters. I think this is the easiest way to make sure that I don't have like too many letters crammed on one side or too much gap on another side. I hope that this will prevent me from doing that because nobody likes a crowded letter. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write them all out, pin them to the fabric, lay the skirt down and paint it and let it dry. I think it says for 4 hours. So I'm just gonna roughly write out the letters so that way I can kind of get a feel for the spacing like it is in the show. And then I just take my time and kind of pin where I think the letters should go. This is more about getting an idea more than anything, so I'm just not like, painting in the dark. And just like the instructions said, I'm gonna lay it on a flat surface. It also says that between the fabric you should put cardboard so that way it doesn't bleed into the back of it. Now I'm gonna cut some of the letters apart so that way it's easier for me to paint, and I'm just gonna start doing it. This part was actually a little nerve-wracking because I wanted the lettering to look good and the paint to work out, so I had to like pull the trigger and just do it. It was definitely a trust the process kind of moment. And I'm so glad I laid down the cardboard because look, it did bleed through. Now I can start putting on the lights, and I just tacked them in place using a couple of stitches. Now it's time for the reveal. And as always, a big thank you to my coven over on Patreon, Witches and Warlocks, Desi, Jamie C, Tiffany L, Aaron Wynn, and Aaron Will. And my newest witch, Sammy. You all are the Demigorgon to my upside down. And make sure to stay tuned because this is just part 1. See you real soon.